Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for telling my brother he's failing his daughter? My brother is a single father to his daughter who is 14. Okay, at the core, I appreciate the rough spot Hez in as a single dad, but I think Hez failing his daughter when it comes to her health. She's over 210 pounds at 14. What's worse is, he doesn't seem bothered. His whole thing is that she can just eat what makes her happy. He lets her run the show in that sense. I've been over at their place and she won't stop eating until she's completely full. She'll eat dinner, whine about being hungry, pretty much demand more food, and hell willy-nilly give her a bag of chips. He knows she's big. He knows Hez spoiling her, but it comes back to her happiness. I asked him how happy she'll be weighing 300 pounds at 18. He deflected. It's just hard to see. She has mobility issues, in that she gets winded quickly, struggles up multiple flights of stairs, and has begun to waddle a bit. It's not uncommon at all for her to sit there and tug at her jeans or shirt and complain fierce snug. She brings up back and foot pain frequently. When she's visited me, she'll tell me I have no food here when there's a full fridge, full freezer, and she insists we go buy food. Essentially what I'm getting at is, as she's gotten heavier, her attitude has gotten worse. I tried to explain all of this to him a few days ago, and he told me it was a gross mischaracterization of his parenting, and that he's just trying to do right by her as best he can. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA. Brother needs to wake up and see all of those things you mentioned. The clothes, the foot pain, getting winded. The foot pain should be the #1 scariest symptom for a young obese person. Diabetic neuropathy kills the nerves in your hands and feet. If this is left unchecked for long enough, they have to be amputated. Her feet may just be overworked, but this needs to be looked into as soon as possible. She is so young and these are consequences she will have to live with for the rest of her life. She needs blood work done as soon as possible. I will say that my uncle has diabetes and had to get his foot amputated. Same thing with grandma, but whole leg. NTA. And him doing right is wrong. She will have diabetes, if she doesn't already, before she is 16. She could have a heart attack and die. She could have gout. She can't live independently, in cleaning herself or dressing herself. Also point out that if he dies, what happens to her? Someone would have to dress her and care for her, and would she be okay with someone other than her dad doing those things? She will be bullied if she isn't already, and clothing is only getting more expensive. He's beginning to have to help her get dressed in some cases. Am I the antagonist for singing a song to my wife at our wedding and making her angry? I just got married last week. My wife and I are both in our 30s. I'm Mexican. She is American. But we both grew up in the US and both our families know both languages. My wife planned every bit of the wedding and was a very controlling and nervous bride. But alright, I get that she was stressed. During the reception I went to the band and asked them to play a song for me to sing to my new wife. It was Te Amo by Miguel Bose. It was the song from Out First Date in a really bad Mexican restaurant. So it became a long-standing joke between us. The guests really loved the song. My mother-in-law cried and told me it was beautiful. But my bride seemed upset. I asked her what's wrong, and she said I'm enough for taking the spotlight to enforce my ethnicity and not just let the band sing our song for us. AITA. Now for the top comments. NTA. What a weird way to view what happened. Agreed. Her accusation is bizarre. I'm not sure what enforce your ethnicity actually entails. I suppose she's implying that he's swinging around his heritage like some kind of weapon. Not the a-hole. NTA. You sung a song that is significant to the two of you at your own wedding. This incident on its own is a bit of a red flag. That she reduced it to your ethnicity, even ignoring that it was a song that was actually significant to the two of you. Does your culture and ethnicity disappear because you married an American woman? Seems like a pretty racist reaction. I was going to say this, but you already did. Seems like a pretty racist reaction, especially the way it was worded. NTA. It's your day too, you know. She should have just appreciated the moment and sentiment and found it funny and charming that you remembered. TBH, I don't like the enforce your ethnicity bit. It sounds like she is okay with Op's ethnicity as long as Op isn't being too ethnic. I hope I'm wrong. Am I the antagonist for blaming our new home for making me shave my head? My mom took a job in Texas last year and moved us from our home in Eugene, Oregon to Dallas. She says it is because we needed a new start after our dad died. But it's more like she needed a new start. She never asked us for our input. One day, she said we were moving to Texas and that was final. The daily temperatures here have been over 100 degrees lately. Everything is hot, humid, stinking, and it fucking sucks. My hair has taken the worst of it. I have curly hair that doesn't react well to heat or humidity and it's been a tangled mess. Nothing seems to tame it. I never had this problem back in Oregon. Yesterday, while mom was at work, I got fed up with trying to comb out my hair and instead got some clippers at Walmart and shaved my head. Mom broke down crying when she saw my new hairstyle and screamed at me. What was I thinking doing that? People will think I'm weird for having a bald head. I snapped back at her and said that I hated everything about it here, especially the heat and having to change my hair and my clothes to fit a place I can't stand. I told her this wouldn't have happened had we stayed in Oregon. I fucking hate it here and I will gladly stay bald until I can go home. The rest of our family, who think that mom uprooting us was not a good idea, disagree with me shaving my head. They think I'm being an asshole for making the move and adjustment period more difficult for her. I don't give a fuck. At least I feel cooler and more comfortable without hair. But I can hear her crying from the other room. So I'm doubting myself if this was a good idea in the end. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. Just a heads up, pun intended. Wear a hat or put sunscreen on. You don't want your head getting sunburnt. And your scalp will burn faster and worse than the rest of your skin. Hat is best. But otherwise, use high SPF and reapply every 90 minutes or when you sweat it off. Whichever comes first. I'm a curly girl who lives in Dallas. And I don't blame you for shaving your head one single bit. So much easier than figuring out your new product cocktail when your emotions are at capacity. Remember to wear a hat or sunscreen though, if your scalp burns. It will be really awful. So no, you are not the a-hole for shaving your head. I know it's really fucking hard dealing with the loss of your dad, especially young, but even if your mom did ruin your life, she did not do it on purpose. The two of you are clearly grieving very differently. Your mom isn't really crying about your hair. It is much more likely that she has been struggling to convince herself that she made the right decision for her family, and this has been a wake-up call that despite her best efforts, things are not going well. He was your dad, but he was your mom's husband and life partner, and if they were in love, which it seems like they were, she is experiencing a very different kind of devastation. She's being faced with her own mortality and trying to figure out how to set her kids up for happy, successful lives. Shaving one's head out of nowhere can be a sign of huge distress in folks who have worn their hair long most of their lives. Your mom is probably very worried about where you are at emotionally, but has no idea how to help because she also likely at her emotional capacity and may even be feeling like she's inadequate or failing as a mother. Your perspective is valid, but try to see hers as well. You have every right to be angry at your life being ripped apart. Really, you do. I'm just some stranger on the internet. But I think you should seriously consider asking your mom to put you and the family into therapy. Your whole family has been through terrible trauma, and clippers are a great short-term solution. But a licensed professional will be the best long-term solution. Am I the antagonist for not wanting to bring my boyfriend's kids everywhere? For context, he works around his EXS schedule as hers isn't as flexible as his. Or so she says. Whenever she doesn't want the kids, wants to go out, see her boyfriend, etc. We have the kids as a favor to her, but when we ask for a favor, or when I ask him to ask her to return the favor, nothing happens. We have the kids at least 3-5 times a week as she's working. Last week we had her from Tuesday until this Tuesday and she didn't tell us that the weekend was actually just a favor as she wanted to go out until he dropped them back off. So in return I asked him to ask for this weekend for us to go away as we were both off, which up until this morning was still the plan. Over the weekend she's invited a friend and her son over knowing that this kid bull is their son, so asked, can we have him for the weekend? So now he's planning to bring him away with us. I said I'd rather just us to go away on the weekend as planned, but if we can't find other arrangements for their son I'd rather not go at all, so now he thinks him being an R. This isn't the first time it's happened. We had a night away booked, and last minute she called and dropped their daughter off, so we had to bring her with us. Just so you know, I spend a lot of time with the kids. They are with us most of the week, and take day trips on weekends and a couple holidays on half term, so it's not like I refuse to bring them anywhere with us all the time. Just when it's been planned as a couple's getaway. Not trying to get people to agree, shit mum. Just trying to make people understand that just cause you have kids doesn't mean you can never have time for yourself and your relationship. Edit. No, I don't hate the kids. Yes, I understand has a dad first, but she's a mum first. By favor I meant when she last minute decides to see her boyfriend or go out, not by doing his parent duties as he should. Also I told him to just take his son away and spend the weekend with him. Edit 2, and just in case anyone missed it, she is legally the primary caregiver, not him, so by court she's meant to have them more than us. If it was the other way around he'd be a shit dad, and she deserves better, but cause it's us, well what do you expect? Now for the top comments. Can you get an arranged custody setup, i.e. 1 week with you both, the next with his ex? It's not fair, you're at her mercy and the kids need stability too, so they know where they will be and when. I've tried getting him to talk to her about it, but he believes literally every single one of her excuses. NTA. If your BF is the primary caregiver, he needs to go to court for the appropriate amount of child support. That being said, if he is doing that, then he should be committing to the hours he is watching them. His kids are not your responsibility. Don't let him sign you up for all that. She actually claims benefits for having them full time and being the primary caregiver, but she probably only has them combined for a week out of the month. NTA. Your boyfriend and ex need to set a childcare plan and stick to it. This opus. The ex is taking advantage. Am I the antagonist for having a snack? For background, I'm recovering from an eating disorder. Part of my recovery means that if I'm hungry, I need to eat. I need to get used to responding to hunger by eating. If I don't eat when I'm hungry, it can become a habit, and I could relapse. I know that's hard for a lot of people to understand, but it's the best way I can explain it. I always carry snacks to accommodate this. My boyfriend asked me to go to a family event with him at his aunt's house. Dinner was at 6:30, but the gathering started at 4 and we were on time. Around 5:30 I started to feel hungry, so I ate a small granola bar from my purse to reinforce the eat when you're hungry rule. Dinner was at 6:30 and excellent. When we left, my boyfriend was upset. He said I offended his family by eating a snack before dinner was served and implied they were bad hosts. He said I should have waited. I reminded him that I have to eat when I'm hungry. He said dinner was in an hour and should have been sufficient to enforce the rule. But it doesn't work that way. I have to eat as soon as I realize I'm hungry, or it's a slippery slope that could lead to me going days without food. Boyfriend was angry and accused me of just wanting attention and being inconsiderate. Should I have waited? Was I being too rigid? Now for the top comments. NTA. Seems to me it's the other way around, and he's the one being too rigid. You have a valid explanation as to why you had a snack, and anyone in the know would be understanding of that. Plus it's a granola bar. That's like the definition of a quick, easy, non-messy snack. It's not like she walked in there with a fast food bag or asked to use their microwave to make a meal or something. I definitely can relate. I've had some food related issues before, and when I get hungry, if I wait too long to eat after a certain point I can't anymore. I definitely bring a quick easy snack to something if I was worried about it. I also have problems recognizing my body's hunger signals and end up skipping meals for days in a row. So whenever I do actually recognize it, I make sure to try and eat something immediately. Waiting an hour is usually gonna mean that I end up not eating. Op is not the a-hole at all. This is a medical necessity. IDK if boyfriend is an R or just not well educated enough about the medical issue behind this. But he needs to get on board fast. Malnutrition is no joke. And if there's an underlying a schedule is absolutely necessary to adhere to. NTA, your boyfriend seem like he doesn't really understand the importance of your recovery and making sure that the rules are followed to prevent a relapse. Absolutely agree. Op is being wonderfully vigilant about their recovery. It's so hard to learn to take good care of ourselves, especially after something like an eating disorder. And Op is working so hard at it. For the BF to dismiss all of that because he didn't want to make his parents feel bad for being bad hosts makes him the NTA Op. Am I the antagonist for refusing to pay my daughter's tuition after she lied about her major? I'll keep this short. My daughter, who is 19, told me she was going to college to major in computer science. I was ecstatic about this because she's been set on majoring in illustration. For years I've been trying to talk her out of it. I know she loves illustration, but it is extremely hard to get a steady job out of that. I wanted her to do something she could be successful in. I want her to have a wider range of opportunities. As it turns out, she lied to me. She's majoring in illustration. She got some mail about some art exhibition at her school. I thought nothing of it at first, because I knew she was a computer science major. After looking into it a bit more, I found out her work was chosen to be displayed in the exhibition. I was furious. I've spent tens of thousands of hard-earned money for computer science. That's what we agreed on. I told her she can do what she wants, but I will not support her. She can pay for it herself, or get her mother to pay, or she could begin to pay me back for the money she stole from me, interest-free. My wife said I'm being unreasonable. She's only 19, and asking her to pay for her own tuition is asking too much of her. I didn't think it was as I agreed to pay for her to study computer science. Nothing else. I was also giving her a chance to make what she did right. I was deceived, and my money was going towards something I had no say in. Now my wife and daughter are upset with me. I'm starting to reflect and think maybe I could be nicer about the situation. Now for the top comments. I found out her work was chosen to be displayed in the exhibition. I was furious. Op, this is heartbreaking, and I hope this post opens your eyes a bit. You're the a-hole. My former roommate went through the same thing. She wanted to focus digital design, and is good at it, but her parents pushed her into ComC where she was pulling C's or failing. Her mom found out that she dropped one of her math classes in favor of a drawing class, and stopped paying her tuition second semester junior year. And guess what? She went through 3 years of intensive therapy for depression. Transferred to 3 different local colleges. We were enrolled at a top 10 university previously, and still ended up becoming a digital artist. Her parents put her through hell and wasted 3 years of her life. Missed graduation with all of her friends. And for what? This. For what is exactly right. I don't understand parents that put their own wants over the happiness of their kids. Like, why did you even become a parent then? Makes me so mad.